Hello there. You probably already think this is a Draw My Life video, but it's not. I want to save that for when I'm famous. Instead, this video is about my Voltaic cell. My Voltaic cell is my junior year at Eastside High School. In it are two cells and a balanced flow of electrons between them. The cell on the left loses electrons and its solid metal deconstructs to form ions in solution. The cell on the right gains electrons and its ions form solid metal. I'm going to focus on the right. The side with construction is bombarded with negativity, and yet it always transforms into beautiful strands of tin or silver or aluminum or you name it. A lot of things happened in my junior year that sucked, and it's okay if you want to let the world know that you're struggling and you need some help. But today I want to talk about the fun. I want to talk about the light and the easy, the positive, the exciting. The stuff that we made from our electrons. My junior year actually started around April of my sophomore year, when the band director was like, "Yo, so you're going to be a drum major now." And I was like, "Oh, okay, are you sure?" And he was like, "Yeah, I guess." And so then I knew that I was about to learn a ton of new and valuable lessons, and I was going to do it in front of 130 people. I've learned a lot from my junior year in band. I distinctly remember one of the first times I felt the impact of being in a new position. On the first day of freshman band camp, I sat down next to this girl who told me all about her Dungeons & Dragons campaigns. Even though I'd never met her and I know nothing about D&D, I couldn't help but marvel at the excited passion she poured out to me. She allowed me to see how grateful I am that I get to experience the budding enthusiasm of so many types of band members. Of course, I also learned the whole leadership thing. How to do all the things I had never been used to doing in any other previous part of my life. I learned the power of simple and direct communication. I learned how to be watched. I learned how to be proactive, not only thinking about the next step, but knowing when and how to take it. I learned how to make friends quicker. I learned how to be there for people the way other leaders had been there for me. But junior year wasn't just band. Coming out of sophomore year and having had some pretty dope English and history teachers, there was already this little voice inside of me that was like, "Yo, writing." And I was just like, yeah, okay. But when school started in junior year, a bunch of things happened. I had this English teacher who had us write poems a lot and had us speak a lot. I also had a lot of classes with this girl that was like, "Yo, I do poetry even when I'm not in English class, so you should read it." And I was like, wow. And thus the voice changed a bit and was now like, okay, seriously bro, writing and speaking. Then a presidential election happened. Donald Trump won, so I clearly had some writing to do and some speaking to speak. I started to realize that maybe I had a hidden passion somewhere. Writing things down and saying them out loud seemed to reveal these bits of me that never used to have substance or clarity to them. Maybe all that science and math isn't taking me where I want to go. So a friend in New York told me about this essay contest thing, and so I decided to give it a shot. It ended up requiring heavy historical and political research, and lots of consulting, and drafting. And despite the 3 a.m. work, I actually came to enjoy it. By then, the voice stopped coming from somewhere else. Instead, it was me, and it was like, oh my goodness, yes, writing! This newfound insight about myself came in clutch when I began to write essays for other programs, and was eventually asked to flesh out my own life story. Words sprung off the keys naturally and without agonizing stress. It was and is thrilling, and it's all because the people of my junior year of high school taught me something about myself. But it wasn't over. Something I've always wanted to see is more of the United States, and especially the big cities. And so I did. I went to 3 whole cities this year: New York City, Philadelphia, and eventually Portland, Oregon. Over winter break, I went up to New York to see some family and friends. It was my first time being older and getting to experience the whole hustle-bustle thing. I liked it a lot. There were people to look at everywhere, all types, all very interesting, and I don't think I have ever seen that much artwork in one day. Most importantly, I learned the art of punning. There were days when we just went outside and laughed our hearts out at street signs, and nobody cared because basically everybody in New York is crazy. Philly. My parents lived and met there for a substantial part of their lives, and I have hence spent 17 years hearing about all the worst things about living in any city and how it's essentially the most dreadful thing ever. So of course I went, and saw all the places I had heard about, but more so experienced the great parts I hadn't been told of. like how West Philly is like the city version of hipster Gainesville. But little did I know that things were about to get way more hipster because Portland. As a part of the oceanography team, I headed to the National Ocean Sciences Bowl finals competition in Oregon. The NOSB stuff was pretty cool, like I got to meet chill surfers, weeping shrimp, and dramatic boat captains. But outside of the snob activities, the raddest part was simply running around Portland in the rain, passing the dopest flowers in the country, and desperately trying to find my math teacher's favorite chocolate shop. We found it, but then I came home and got wrecked by exams. Of course, life is not as happy and cliche as this video, but I can still be thankful. Marching band, writing, speaking, traveling, they all opened doors for me. It has taken me a few years of high school to learn how to be myself, but all of the opportunities and all of the people from this third year have enabled me to do so. So thanks, y'all. Love you guys.